Hey, what's up everyone? Today I'm going to be taking you through a backpack workout that you can do from home. So this is going to be great for adding more resistance to your normal body weight workouts and help you add more progressive overload. And pretty much anyone can do this, so if you don't have any weights to use for resistance, you can just use household items such as water bottles, other things like cans or even books, or even if you have just some small pads, they can be put in your bag for some extra resistance. That was a joke if you couldn't tell. You don't want to use pads for this because they're going to just wriggle around too much and displace the weight on your back. And it's also unethical. Okay, so the workout format for this is going to be 1 minute each exercise, and you're just going from one exercise straight to the next with no rest. So the workout structure is set up in a way that you're not going to be training muscle groups consecutively from exercise to exercise. So it's going to give your muscles enough chance to recover without having set rest time. But if you do need extra time to rest, to take it when needed and try and reduce it as little as possible. So there's 10 exercises total, so it's only going to take you 10 minutes to finish one round, but you can repeat this multiple times if you want. And if you want to make this harder, another thing that you can do is instead of doing 1 minute per exercise, you can do 2 before moving along to the next one. But I'd only recommend this for more advanced individuals or people that don't have much resistance that they can put in their bag. Okay, so let's take a look at the exercises. So the first exercise up is going to be pistol squats. So what you don't want to be doing here is just alternating one leg after the other. You want to be doing consecutive reps on one leg, at least for a few, so around 5 reps or so before you alternate. As when we alternate after one rep on each leg, you're allowing the muscle too much time to rest and it's not going to be as effective. So you want to make sure that you are doing enough reps to build up some lactic acid before you then alternate to your next leg. And if you find regular pistol squats too challenging at the moment, all you need to do is find a chair, and the higher the chair, the easier this will be. So you can just start where needed, and then you can get a smaller chair as you get more advanced, and then eventually to a full pistol squat. Okay, then from pistol squats, we're going straight into archer push-ups. So here, as you bring your body down, you're favoring onto one side, trying to put most of the load onto that one side of your body, and your straight arm is just mainly there for support, and you use it as little as possible. And this is a great exercise for putting more tension on the muscle and building more strength in the pecs, opposed to just regular push-ups. But if you find this too challenging, all you need to do is just drop to your knees, and that'll reduce the load that you have to press. You can also use more assistance from the straight arm, and that'll make it a little bit easier as well. Okay, then from there we're going back to our lower body, and here we're doing heel taps. So all you're doing is dropping the hips down and back, like with a normal squat, but on one leg, and you're just reaching for your heel. And by angling your torso down towards the ground, this is going to shift the load onto your glutes and away from your quads. So there is a lot of balance involved with this exercise. So you want to make sure your bag is strapped up tight to your back, so it's not loose and the weight's not moving around a lot, as this is obviously going to make it much harder to balance. But if you feel like you might struggle with this exercise, you can hold on to something with one arm for support, and this will help you balance and reduce some of the load. So now we're moving into archer pull-ups. So same thing where we're trying to put most of the load into one side of our body, build up the strength and add more progressive overload to the exercise. But this is a very challenging exercise, so if you're going to struggle, you can't just do regular pull-ups, and even if you can't do that many, you can just do the negative portion of the exercise. So jumping up and then controlling the negative down is going to help build up the strength so that you can eventually build up to doing more pull-ups. Okay, so we're halfway through the exercises now, and next up we have reverse lunge press. So here we're doing the same thing where we do around 5 reps each leg before alternating to the next. So with this, you want to make sure you're pressing it at the same time as you step back into the lunge, and you want to try and make sure that both legs are around a 90-degree angle. Okay, so next up we have a row to face pull. So here we're trying to target the thickness of your back with the row and your rear delt and rotator cuff with the face pull. And you're just going to keep alternating after 1 rep of each. But you want to make sure you're taking your time with this exercise, really squeezing at the top of the movement, so you should be holding it for 1 to 2 seconds at the top and then slow back down. So with the row, you're going to have your elbows quite close to your body, pulling up to your chest, and then for the face pull, you're going to have your elbows out wide and then pulling directly in line with your ears, with your thumbs up facing towards the sky. And you can either do this with 1 or 2 hands at a time, depending on how much resistance you have in your bag. So next up we have a lateral raise. So here we're trying to isolate and target the side delt. And this typically needs isolated training to be targeted effectively, as your front delt is mainly going to dominate for most pressing movements and is going to get effective stimulus from things like push-ups and general chest training. So it's important to target specifically the side delt and the rear delt, as these tend to be more underdeveloped than the front delt. And to perform this properly, you just want to make sure that you're keeping your core tight the whole time so that you're not tilting over to one side and that you're not shrugging the weight up, so your shoulders should be back down and compressed so that your traps can't take over the movement and that all of the tension is being placed on your side delt. Okay, so exercise number 8 is going to be tricep extensions, and here we're trying to target, you guessed it, the tricep. So it's important for this exercise that you keep a nice straight body. So there should be a direct line from your heels to your hips all the way through to your shoulders. So your hips shouldn't be sagging towards the ground or with your bum up in the air, because you can actually cheat this exercise with your hips by sort of thrusting them back, which is going to allow you more momentum to get to the top of the movement. So you want to make sure that you're doing this nice and slow so that you're not doing that, and really focusing on squeezing the triceps through the whole range of motion. And simply, if you want to make this easier, you can just do these on your knees. So with the next exercise, we're still targeting the arms with bicep curls. So with this exercise, you can either do it with 2 or 1 arm, so depending on how much resistance you have again. But while performing this exercise, it's really important that you focus on the supination of the arm. So this is where your wrist is turning from a downward facing position up to the sky. And this is a really important function of the biceps, so it's important to focus on and train properly. For our final exercise, here we're trying to target our core with plank side twist walkouts. So here you're going to be starting in a regular plank position, and all you're going to be doing is turning to the side and you're driving your knee up to your elbow. So really using the obliques to get that twist, trying to drive it up as much as possible and getting as much rotation as you can. You're doing that for both sides, and then once you return back to a normal plank position, you're going to walk your feet back and you're trying to get your chest towards the ground. So here what this is doing, by moving your bases of support further apart from each other, so being your feet and your elbows, means that your core has to work harder to maintain this position. So if you can't quite get completely to the ground, just go as low as you feel comfortable and then return back to the normal position and just repeat this whole sequence again. So this is a really great exercise for targeting the whole core from multiple directions, and is a really tough ab exercise. Okay, so that is the end of this backpack workout. I hope you found it helpful, and this is just a great way that you can add more progressive overload to your normal bodyweight training without much equipment and just things from around the house. So if you enjoyed this, please do hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.